The Edify Show with special guests, Chris McNally. And now, the host of The Edify Show, Elliott.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Edify Show on this special edition of Hearty TV Tuesday. I hope you guys have been enjoying these. Please do like and subscribe. It helps us so much, and comment. We'll answer them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the things that you guys hear in this interview. It kind of feeds me to know, hey, there's people out there and they're listening and you like what we're doing. And this one with Chris McNally was fascinating to do, and I was so excited to do it. Let's take a look.
Super excited. We are here right now with Chris McNally to talk about everything. Chris, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me on the program.
You know, I've enjoyed it. I remember actually the very first time when you came in, because the thing you shared with me is you actually tried for both Nathan and Lucas. Like you were looking for one. I'm just curious, was there one you were kind of rooting for, or were you like, hey, this one works?
Yeah, Lucas.
And you nailed it.
It worked out. Yeah. My team, well, they called and they said, hey, so you booked one. And I was like, okay. And they said, is there any particular one you're hoping for? And I said, is it Lucas? And they said, it's Lucas.
The thing that I found interesting, because you seem like a true like artist about your craft, like your acting. Did you always know, like, when did this happen for you? When did you go, you know what, I want to be an actor, like in high school, or what were you like then?
I always wanted to be an actor, but I had a misconception of what that meant when I was in high school. I didn't do drama in high school. There might have been a summer program, maybe somewhere between grades 10 and 11 or something like that, maybe 9, when I did maybe a 4-week acting class or something like that in the summer, and I liked it. But in high school itself, I was really involved in music and jazz and some other language electives, and essentially my elective choices were all filled up. So I needed an additional one to take theater class. So and there wasn't. So that didn't happen in high school. But then the reason I wanted, or when I first decided I wanted to be an actor, is kind of a silly story. It was watching Space Jam.
Really?
Yeah, but because I was watching Space Jam, I was watching Bill Murray and Michael Jordan on Space Jam, and in my little kid brain, I was like, are these guys doing this for work? Like, they're working with the Looney Tunes.
Right.
They get to work with the Looney Tunes. Like, that's crazy. And I remember watching it over and over again, sitting in front of the floor, or in front of the TV on the floor watching. I don't know if that actually happened or if that's just sort of like my version of events and how they unfolded. But yeah, watching Looney Tunes.
Where you watch it and you watch Michael Jordan and you're like, not even seeing the basketball player, you're seeing this is a guy that gets to play at Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
I'll be a basketball player so I can play basketball with Looney Tunes. I'm going to be an actor, and you do it. So how old were you when you got serious? This is what I'm doing. Like, was it right out of high school? You're like in college? Did you start right off the box, just going?
When I was a kid, I was convinced that was what I was going to do. And then I didn't understand how it worked though, and I thought it was just something that, you know, one does or doesn't do, and that you don't have to go to school or learn how to, you know, perfect this craft, or not that there's any perfection in it, but learn how to actually do it. And then, so the only acting practice that I would have would be at an audition. And so that, I never booked anything because I didn't know what I was doing. And I get in there and get flustered and nervous. And then I go, wow, that didn't go very well. And just repeatedly until eventually I took that summer course and got some kind of my feet wet in a way. And then after high school, my folks said, you got to go to school. And they ended up signing me up for business school, just in a local college. And so I did one semester there, and I was at macroeconomics and microeconomics and calculus and stuff like that. And I was like, I hate this. This is awful. And actually now I'd be interested in it. I'd take those classes now.
So now I hate that.
Okay, so we switched.
It's like a job swap.
Yeah.
Who wants to see me as Lucas? Yeah.
I got the jacket.
Yeah, I could never grow the beard. I never had a chance of growing a Buick or something out of my face.
I don't know, they're clever. They can fill things in. Mine gets colored in. It's all smoke and mirrors. So I dropped out after my first semester. And then I started looking up schools. And the first place I went was that spot I did a summer program at. And that was the beginning of a 10-year journey of working with teachers within a lot in Vancouver and some in LA and from New York. And something just kind of clicked on the 10th year, and work started coming in, and knock on wood, hasn't stopped.
You know, The thing I found so cool about that, you went to the auditions and that was pretty scary. And like you went right into it unprepared, just like, I'm just going for this.
Yeah.
And just like, this is scary, but you just went for it anyway.
Yeah, but not well.
Right, right. No,
I'm actually really shy, and so my anxiety would take over. I didn't even know what anxiety was. I had it then, but I didn't know that it was a thing. I just felt like I got a certain way every time I went into an audition room. And then years later, I was like, oh, so what does anxiety feel like? Oh, I've had that a long time.
wow. There's something so cool about it. Though. I keep thinking of like Indiana Jones, like he's afraid of the snakes. But it's like you're like Indiana Jones jumping into a bucket of snakes going, I want to be an actor. Like it makes you more nervous, but you just went for it anyway. And then when you decided, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you decided, okay, I'm going to do this, like you really took that craft seriously. Like you,
Yeah, maybe too
learned.
seriously.
I don't know, I respect it.
Well, you know was it the 80-20 rule, right? Where you want to apply yourself 80%, so you still have 20% of you left to enjoy life. But when you go 100, it's like you just wear yourself out.
Right.
So going at 100, I think, can take its toll. And I maybe learned that lesson and realize I need a better kind of life.
The thing I remember, and I don't know if we'll roll a clip of it, but just watching you do the interviews where you said you would memorize everything in monotone and then put your intonation in. I was like, that's amazing. Literally training yourself down to the intonation. I mean, to me, that's pretty impressive. Like you really take this craft seriously. Like you're.
Thanks. Well, I love it. I love doing that work.
Right.
And I love the sort of alchemy when you're in a scene working. It's this sort of special kind of, I don't know, environment that you enter, and you don't get that feeling ever in real life.
Right.
So it's a special magical kind of play zone.
Right. And then you get to learn so much too, right? Like, you're in there and I mean, you're doing magic tricks at the beginning of Wind Calls the Heart and learning things like this. And then what's you would love to do? Like, what kind of movie would you like to play in, or a character that would just be like, man, I'd love to, like, would you like an action movie? Would like do your own stunts, or what would feed Chris?
More and more, I feel like I don't want to do that as much as I used to.
Right.
But when I was first starting, I was always kindly combative with the stunt choreographer, going, I can do it.
Right.
And they're like, well, okay, we've got our stunt guy. And I'm like, no, I can do it. And then I kind of go through the blocking, and they go, oh, all right, maybe you can do it. I mean, it's been a while since I did any sort of training, so I got punched a couple of times a few weeks ago. Oh, you were there last time.
Yeah.
Several of the people that I used to train in martial arts with, and also involved with gymnastics, and they've continued to work and train, and they're now pro stunt people. So there was sort of a little group of us, and I decided to go more into the acting realm, and the other ones went stunt, and
So you
they're
have
really
buddies
successful.
that were with you in the same journey that went to stunts?
Yeah.
Was there any party that thought, I can do that I'll do that?
I think I just liked acting more. So, yeah, there was a part of me that was interested. I love, flipping around and doing fake fights and stuff like that. But it takes a toll on your body, and I was gravitating more towards that, I don't know, acting.
I get to that age where you could do anything, and you get older, and it's like I throw my back out picking up a paperclip. So like I picture that, like you do that one stunt, and then who knows, where that'll follow you. There's so much talent. There's so many people that can sing. Like so many people like do martial arts. Amanda, she did 7 years of Taekwondo, all that. I keep picturing it. I want to see the musical version of Wind Calls the Heart, and I want to see the Marvel kung fu. Yeah, I mean that would be cool.
I participate in that one. The musical one, I said that I'd be a part of a musical episode of One Calls the Heart, but I'd like to be the conductor. I'll be the maestro.
Gosh, that would be so. If they ever did that, that would be so big.
I feel like it came close once. It was happening, but then things went a different direction.
Well, I don't know. I need to do something to push that. If you want it, if you want it. So I'm so curious. When you did it, what did your parents, first of all, when they put you in calculus and all that other stuff, what did they think when you said, I'm going to go acting now?
If they had any reservations, they didn't mention them. They've always been really supportive. They're both designers, and so they have creative backgrounds. And my dad wanted to be an artist at one point, and then design sort of appealed to him because I think he could still use his creativity, but it was in maybe a more stable environment.
Right.
And I have family who were also pursuing that. I have some cousins who went that route as well. So I wasn't the first one. And I think they were encouraging. They always would come out and watch if I did a play, or we would hold showcases. We'd workshop a scene and just explore a scene from a play for 3 months or something like that. And then we'd put it up on its feet for 4 nights and charge people a few bucks at the door. And we put that money towards the lights and equipment and stuff that we needed in the little theater space we were training out of. So they were always coming to those, and then encouraging me to move down to LA and
So when you went down there, do you remember the very first where you got that call that was like, wow, okay, this happened. I'm an actor. Where you really were excited, where you just felt like you'd arrived, or that I mean, well,
I don't know
obviously,
if I felt that yet. Okay. I mean, not to the point where I feel like I'm set, I can kick back, but I do remember the moment. There's a couple moments where everything shifted, 2 that I can think of. The first one was I was really set after 10 years of taking classes in various different places. I was sort of tired of the once a week plus rehearsals. I wanted to be involved more. And so I thought, I'm going to apply for theater school and go to a conservatory, and it'll be 3 years every day. And I was really excited about that. So I went to New York, and I had an audition for theater school. And while I was in New York prepping for that, I got there a couple of days before. I had a email come through with an audition. I was like, I don't have time for this because I've got to work on my monologues.
right,
I've got to try and sing,
right,
which was a requirement in that audition. And so I was really focused on that aspect. And I found somebody on Craigslist, which in hindsight is probably pretty, a little sketchy.
right.
Just message a stranger on Craigslist, say, hey, can I come to your apartment? Can you film me? But they had a studio, and it was walking distance from the place I went to. So I went to this fellow's house, and I kind of stumbled through this audition. I wasn't really thinking about it much. I made a couple basic choices, and then left and didn't think about it again. And I went to my audition for school, which I didn't get into, and I was bummed about that. And then a few weeks later, maybe a few months later, it was a while, I got a call saying, hey, it was actually from a friend I used to work with, who was now working as a producer's assistant on that project, and said, hey, I just want to call you and let you know that you got this part. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Because I hadn't heard from my team yet. And they called and let me know, and that was Altered Carbon. And it was only 3 episodes, but it was a huge show,
Right.
a huge budget. And so that's where it changed things a little bit, because it started to create a bit of momentum for me. And I was able to get some U.S. managers just from being on that show, and maybe be taken a little more seriously.
Right.
So I got to like pop my head up a little bit from where I was, and maybe jump to the next stone. So that was the first thing that really helped, was trying to get in theater school and not caring about this other audition that worked out in my favor. And then the second one was after moving to LA, and I'd saved up some money, and with saving Canadian dollars and then moving to the States, and losing money on the dollar there. Yeah, it's tough. Right? It is what it is. And I think I was doing some basic math, and I'd been there maybe 5 months, and I was like, I think I'm gonna run out of money. I think this is it. I think I have maybe 2 months left of just rent money, and that's not including feeding myself or getting around. And I was like, how did I do that? How did I miscalculate so harshly? And I had tested for One Calls the Heart already, but it was a week or 2 prior to that. And I got home, and my partner Julie, I was freaking out. My partner Julie, like, I'm gonna run out of money. I failed. I gotta go back to Canada. I gotta move home with my tail between my legs. And she was like, just relax. Why don't you just go have a shower and just cool off? I said, okay. So I went and I got in the shower, and I was like, and anyway, just had a moment. And then I came out, and I had like several missed calls from every member of my team. And I was like, that's never happened before. And then I called them back, and they're like, hold on, we just have to get everyone on the line. And they all came in, and then that's when they were like, hey, so you got the part. Which one do you think it is? And I was like, in the nick of time.
You're like, I don't care.
I'll do either.
Yeah. Wow, that's the coolest story ever. You never told me that before. I knew that you got offered the 2, and I love stories like that. It was like right at the brink, right at the cliff's edge.
Yeah.
That tends to happen in this industry. A lot of friends of mine have stories like that. Right when they think they're screwed, they get a little phone call.
Yeah.
And they get a life extension.
You're right. I have heard that before. The shower's a twist. I haven't heard that one
Yeah.
before. So then when you did it, oh, that's so neat. And so here we're kind of in this journey here, and then here you are. So when you found out, like, how didn't you, well, even when you did the audition, how much had you done enough research into it even to know about the fan base? Like, because the fan base is a big part of the show, but I don't know that you really find out about it until you get in it.
Not really. It's not really something that would change how you approach a job or even really come into play, because you might watch a few episodes and kind of get a feel of the tone of the show. But there was nothing that would make me think to pay attention to viewership or fan base or anything like that. I found out about that after.
One thing I'm kind of curious about is because I remember when you came to the Hardy's family reunion, and
Before
the first one,
time
the
before
first
Kevin
one.
and I had we'd been working, but nobody had seen that season yet. Is that the one you mean? So no one knew who we were?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It just sort of, what did that feel like to you?
It felt like you were a guest at a party and no one knew you.
Well, you would come in and they're like, this is Chris, he's really funny. Say something funny, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So what about that other one, like the one where I remember you guys had your shirts, like team this, and
Oh, that was fun.
all that kind of thing. And
Yeah, that one we felt a little more welcome.
right, now it's your party.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember what you thought when you first saw Jamestown?
I thought it was pretty cool because it's not a studio set. So if you're standing in the street and you're facing away from any kind of equipment or lifts or whatnot, it does feel like you're in this little time period, minus a few inconsistencies like the gravel and whatnot. But for the most part, you get to feel like you're there. When you go to Disneyland, you get to go through the different, I can't remember if it's Disneyland or Disney World or Epcot or Universal. I get them all confused, but there's one of them where you can go through different countries and like towns, right? So it just kind of felt like that. It's like this neat immersive experience where you're just on a giant, not sort of stage, like real life kind of playground.
Right. And the playground too, there's a lot of kids in this playground. There's a lot of funny people that are on the set that I just think, like, whenever I hear you guys talking, to be honest with you, I suffer from envy because there's so many cool people. And something, the acting looks fun anyway. I'm an extrovert, I like, but the people, like, I get to meet with you guys and I just like you as people. I just can't imagine anything more fun than watch Kevin, go at it with Jack Wagner. And like just to watch that unfold, I'd feel like I'd want to eat popcorn, and Kevin could read the phone book. That guy just kills me. All these guys are very funny. I know you talk about it, but you're very funny. I've seen you do things. It's got to be kind of a trip. Like when you guys are working, it's just such a cool personalities that are in there. That had to be kind of a nice, pleasant experience.
We're very lucky that we all get along, and it's a good group together. Kevin, I think, was saying earlier today even that there's only one other show he can think of that he worked on where everybody, he said, where I would hang out with anybody on the cast. So it's special and it doesn't happen.
You guys do a lot of practical jokes on the set. Is there a lot of that kind of stuff? Because I've never heard any. You gave me the inside scoop because I never really asked that question.
There's a good practical joke today, actually, where there's a new makeup artist coming on that hasn't worked on our show before. And so the makeup team put together, we all have kits, right? Like each character has a kit, and makeup department and hair department have their kits. So when they're going to look after Erin, they have the Erin kit, has everything she needs. Kevin, Pascal, we all have one. They're all color coded. And because we all, I guess, depending on your hair or skin, like you have different products that they use with us. And so for the new girl, they put together a bag and they labeled it the horse kit, or the horse bag. And it had like gloves in it, and it had like tweezers and male deodorant and dental floss and stuff like that. And so they gave her the horse bag and they said, oh, so, when we do finals, can you just check the horse, make sure it's got nothing in his teeth, and make sure.
Did she believe it?
They got her for a bit, yeah.
Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
mean, it wasn't a good. She didn't go over, and I had to start with the horse, which I think she would have been stopped before then.
That is
before
hilarious.
flossing the horse. But briefly. So we like to play jokes.
We need to ask this kind of questions more. This is awesome. Gosh, I feel stupid not asking this. So are you a practical joker guy? I mean, do you do things like that?
I just like to watch. I like to be an audience.
You like to be an audience guy. Because I think you'd be dangerous. I do. I think you'd be dangerous. I think you'd be one of those quiet guys that all of a sudden, because you've got the skill set, like with accents. I don't know if you do like telemarketers. Do you ever mess with them or when they call up or?
Occasionally.
Oh, I had a feeling. Remember, bring it. Let me hear it. What do you do?
No, I just like to. My thing has been more written word lately because I've been getting a lot of text messages. Somebody that has the same phone number as me applied for a loan for his company like 2 years ago.
Right.
And I've gotten probably over, I'd say at least 300 messages and maybe 100 phone calls saying, hey, we got your application with a loan. How much are you looking for? And there's one person in particular that's messaged me probably about 5 or 6 times.
Right.
And I started kindly by saying, you know, wrong phone number. This isn't associated with that company. It's not. Messaged me again, wrong phone number, wrong phone number, wrong phone number. And so finally I said, I feel like having some fun with this guy. So I wrote back and I said, thank you for your interest. Yes, I do own my own business. However, we are entirely covered with private equity. I'm not in need of your loan, but you might be interested to know that we specialize in developing a new kind of jetpack. And this jetpack is actually able to propel you to the top of the troposphere, to the top of the toposphere. And I said that it conveniently doesn't have an off button or a parachute. And, it's catered towards certain individuals and we feel like you qualify. So if you'd like me to send you one, I'm happy to send it to your personal address if you want to slide that, or I'll send it directly to your company. Which would you prefer? And then he finally stopped texting.
That is hilarious. And you texted him that?
Yeah, I mean, it took me
Oh my
like 15
gosh.
minutes. It was too much time out of my day. I enjoyed it.
That I see. I knew it too. See, I want to hear you. Please record it. I want to hear you do one because I do that. You can ask Tiffany, but because I get it. I own a house, and they're always calling up, and they're trying to buy my house, and I
Yeah.
can start. So I started calling instead of answering. One thing I did is if they answered, I pretended I was a business like you did, except I'd answer we live in Spokane, so I'd answer the phone. And I go, "Hi, Spokane Urinal," and he'd go, "This is no, this is a business, Spokane. We doing urinal cakes, toilet seat, paper cup. I'll be honest, most people just sell urinals." And they go, "Well, I'm sorry, I meant to call, but no, that's no problem. Hey,
Start engaging.
oh, yeah." He goes, "Since you called, I mean, let me ask you a question. Who down there handles most of your urinal purchasing decisions?" And I had him transfer me, and I think I'd be good at this. I think I'd be a good urinal salesman. I have a plumbing supply or something like that. But so that's what I thought. I thought because especially like I told you when you did those accents, I'm like, man, the thing I loved about what you did too is it was a different twist. It was a different, like everybody else would, like I've done the Southern accent a million times, but you did the Doc Holliday thing. Segue. What would be like? I'm just curious. What kind of movies do you like? Like, what's your?
It depends on my mood. I sometimes like lately for whatever reason, the last few days I've been really into watching Liam Neeson movies.
I love those.
Yeah, the ones on Netflix, like The Ice Road, crazy. Yeah,
I know there's something.
The Honest Thief, The Commuter,
Yeah.
with nonstop. It's like Liam Neeson. Is he gonna be in a truck or a plane or a train or a car? I don't know, but someone's gonna insult his family and then he's gonna get mad and kill a lot of people. But I've just felt like watching that. But I think it's easier for me to say the genres I don't like, which are I really don't like horror movies or like scary movies or gore movies. I don't enjoy being afraid intentionally. I don't get a kick out of it, and I can't quite understand the mentality of how some of my friends love it. Like, why would you do that to yourself when you just have a good time watching comedy?
No.
Or watch like a drama and be really moved and invested. And I don't want to just be terrified and then not be able to sleep.
No, we could hang out and not watch a movie sometime. Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, I hate those. Yeah. So which ones do you like? The Taken ones or the I like Take.
Well, this is just, I think it's honestly just because I've been working and I, at the end of the day, I'm tired. And so I kind of feel like watching something, but I don't have much brain capacity left. So I'm like, I know watch something that, doesn't require a lot, but is sort of, I might get a little personally irritated at the stupidity of it, but then also kind of enjoy it at the same time. And these Liam Neeson movies, no offense, Liam, you're probably watching this, are so perfect.
Yeah. Isn't he an interesting one that he's doing that when you look at his body of work? Like if you've ever seen Rob Roy, did you ever see that one?
No.
Oh my God.
But
Fantastic.
is it better than The Ice Road? Because maybe it wouldn't like.
Somehow is. I don't know how they pulled that off. They caught him young. Yeah. They caught him young. So they had that going for it, And just the guy's like just such a phenomenal actor. But then again, that's probably why those are so good. But that Taken one, it's almost like the wind calls the heart of action films, right? Like it just never.
They just keep going. I think they found a sweet spot. They found an audience. I don't think it's terribly expensive to produce, and it's just a formula that is successful.
Right.
But no, but for real, like thinking about actual movies I've watched lately that I've enjoyed. Tar was really great, and All Quiet on the Western Front I thought was.
Oh yeah, great movie. Yeah.
That one was really impressive.
That had to be impressive as somebody to watch it just all as one. Like man, what a day.
Yeah, yeah. You think about, I think maybe when you work in this business, you think about the other side of things, which is these guys that are in the mud and the rain for the whole movie, and the mud's like up to their shins. And you're like, that's real mud, like they're freezing cold. They're so uncomfortable. They get blisters and their feet are soaked and like freezing, and just the elements are so tough. So just considering the kind of environmental challenges that they went through to film that is nuts. And then the movie itself is beautiful and amazing and heartbreaking.
Yeah, just to even all the people watching that are like, "Can you stop talking about Liam Neeson? Talk about When He Calls Hard Again." So the question I have is, what on that note, because I love asking people what was the most fun day that you could remember, and what was that one tough day or one tough shoot or just something like, man, it was super hot or super cold or
The heat is the toughest one here.
Right.
Yeah, I don't function well in heat. I literally shut down. I can't remember my dialogue. I can't remember what I'm doing. I can't articulate. I like when Lucas has cerebral battles and like intellect battles with other characters. So I enjoyed working with Jerome, or the character Jerome Smith, quite a bit, and it's just their back and forth. There was a fun scene we had in the saloon about something about Gowan, and I don't know, he's tricking him with a document or something that may or may not exist, if I'm recalling correctly.
very well.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah, I like that too. I think that's too. I think that elevates the overall coolness
right.
of Lucas. I agree with that. Yeah, where it's like you just don't know, and yeah, I thought that was really neat. Actually, I'm with you on that 100%. Like, always reminded me of Mr. French. Probably before your time, but definitely before your time. I mean, dating myself. There's not as much gray in this beard, but believe me, under the beard, I'm getting a lot of gray. You get the subtle.
Yeah.
See, there's things they can do from that. This guy told me they can do stuff with beards. Just told me that not even too long ago.
I suggested, and they said, "No, we kind of like it."
So you like those where it really elevates them, where you're really kind of diving into the meat of that as an actor more.
Yeah, I like it when there's, I guess, it's when there's more at stake, when you have more serious scenes where there are consequences to what can happen, as opposed to, yeah, we have a lot of sort of friendly banter, community events, and that's fine too. But for me personally, I enjoy the work when there's a little bit more happening beneath the surface.
So was there any particular day that stuck out for you in any part of your career where you're like, I'll never forget this day. This was really amazing.
Yeah, getting beat up by Joel Kinnaman on Altered Carbon was pretty great.
Did you get to do that? Was that a stunt thing?
To do that, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then I hurt myself on the last take. Well, they moved a countertop in order to adjust the camera's position, and so a counter that was usually closer was about 8 inches farther away, and we didn't really. It all happened so fast, and we didn't adjust for it. Probably why I should have been a stunt guy, because a stunt guy would have adjusted for it. Right? But I was focused on what we were doing on him, and I got slammed into this counter, and I went forearm first into it, and immediately I was like, that's not good. And I look over and I can see the red coming up from my white outfit. I'm like, oh man. And yeah, the bruising was crazy on that, and I didn't need stitching or anything like that, but it was a gash, and I could tell that the stunt team they were like, oh God, we let this guy do it, and now he's hurt himself.
No.
But I didn't mind. It was part of the fun.
He's an absolute trip. Yeah, I keep thinking that if Chris actually works for the CIA, his cover is terrible, because I mean, the guy's like this accomplished martial artist, and he's just so confident. You ever seen words like alchemy? I mean, he's just a real intelligent guy. But the thing with him, I'm just going to tell you, because otherwise you guys will never know, but he's a super kind human being. I mean, I've seen him, he doesn't even know, right? That I saw, he's gone way out of his way. I've seen him do it to do an act of kindness. He is the real deal. And in fact, he's perfect to play a guy like Lucas, in my opinion. But anyway, that concludes this episode of the Edify Show. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't to our newsletter at hearties.com. We'll keep you informed of everything. And a lot more coming. And we'll see you next time on the Edify Show.
Tune in next week for Hearty TV Tuesday. Elliott will be interviewing Eric Gow. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube page. And never miss a thing when you register at hearties.com, where people around the world are coming together to support inspiring entertainment. And we'll see you next week on The Edify Show.